the reason I'm taking a movie here is I have a Facebook page, and the idea is to try to pass the information to as many people as possible on why we get ACI certification. And this is very important. And even it's worse. Why do I ask you to take ACI for slum test? Slum test. Everybody knows slum test. What about measuring the temperature? Who doesn't know how to measure the temperature, right? So when I was taking the course as a PhD professor in the university, why would somebody teach me how to take the temperature? I thought that is crazy. I thought ACI just want to make money. What is going on? Then I found out that no, everything is based on logic. Let me give you an example. I'm going to make a mix of concrete, and then I'm going to ask you to find me the slum test. Everybody knows how to make slum test. I'm going to give 5 different labs, and each lab has 3 different people. So I have 15 people, and I will give them all the same mix, and tell them, give me the slum. They will give me the slum. This guy will say 2 inches, 2.5 inches, 50 millimeter, whatever. They will all give me the numbers. I will take all those numbers and look at them, and then I will also take movies of every person while he's working. And when I will compare the results, I can visualize why that guy had a lower number, why that guy had a higher number, why did this guy get a different number, why did those 6 people get the same number. And we found out there is a trend in how people behave, how people do things. So we said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to minimize this difference. So if the difference between them was 1/2 inch, I want to make it 1/4. So I will put on them rules and regulations, and then ask them to do it again, and so on. So we ended up finding out that if we treat ourselves like workhorses, like this, and go through the process that ACI will develop for you, the chance of your results being more accurate is much higher. And we are taking that path. So if I ask you how to measure the temperature of concrete, you simply know that you have to put a thermometer in the concrete to measure the temperature. But in ACI here, we have maybe 15, 20 steps for this. By doing those 20 steps and not allowing you to say, Muhammad, hey, I just put this in the temperature. Okay, wait, just a minute, then you fail. You're not doing the correct process. The correct process is to put the thermometer and look at the watch. And you have to waste 2 minutes of your time, 2 to 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever the rule says, and then you remove it. You don't even have the right to change your face and look at somebody else, or go and have a cup of water and come back. So there are rules and regulations which will ensure better results now. You can say, so what? What is the importance of this? The importance of this is that you as a laboratory technician, you are going to measure strength test or durability or water cement ratio or whatever, and then if you find out that the concrete does not meet the standards, you are going to report it to your boss, who is going to report it to the consultant, who is going to report it to the owner. They may stop the project, maybe there will be lawsuits. So we found out that if you fix the beginning, then there is a better chance it doesn't grow up to become a bigger problem, a bigger dispute. So what they decided, said, okay, now let's say you found out that your concrete is a disaster area and you report it as a disaster area. You come to me as let's say you are with a consultant and you come to me as a ready mixer. How do I protect myself? I tell you, I've tested mine before I give it to you. Then you will say, but I tested it. Then I'll say, are you certified? You say, no, my people are certified. So my results will be accepted, your results will be questioned. how far can we go? We can go a lot, by the way. I mean, it is not as simple as that. Maybe your equipment, even your slump test, okay, is not calibrated. Even a slump test, which is the stupid small piece of the cone, is not calibrated. Maybe you bought it 10 years ago. So we have calibration of equipment, checking of equipment, checking of personnel, checking how you collected the mix design. So lots of things come into the picture. Okay. So you guys are both lucky to be here because your company is supporting you, but at the same time you have responsibility on your head. What is the responsibility on your head right now? Responsibility on your head right now is to say, oh, we listened to Dr. Maher, there is something, what should I do? Well, simply reboot your brains. Just lock everything, all the information you have. So if I tell you, are you qualified? Tell me I have nothing. I don't know anything about concrete. Explain to me what you want me to do. Tell me what is the procedure that is through ACI. Okay? So the danger of certification is that some of the people are confident that they know, oh, this is how I've been doing it for 20 years. Everybody says this is correct. I'm confident. No, we want you to start all over again and say, I'm going to go through a process and follow the process to the limit so that I am not going to be questioned. My results will not be questioned and I will be doing my job correctly. Okay. Now, how do I ensure what I just said to you? I'm going to test you for it. So in order for you to pass this course, you have to pass 14 different exams. If you fail one of the 14 exams, you will fail the course. So most people will come and say, well, I know about this, I know about this, I know about this, I know about this, and then do you know where they fail? They fail in the temperature, they fail in the sampling. Why? Because when he came here, temperature for him is nothing, sampling is nothing, but then air-void ratio by pressure method, this is new to me. Air-void ratio by volume method, this is new to me. So we will concentrate on what? On some of the things that, as if he is coming here to learn. Now, there is a big difference between learning and certification. Now, learning is having more information. Certification is doing this information based on a track that is given to you. It's like the law. It's like going through, government rules and regulations. Okay? So the ACI decided that the field testing technician grade 1 course will be very tough, and that will give you the starting point of the message I'm trying to pass to you, so that when you go to other courses and you understand this concept, then you are better off to absorb the importance of what is in the subject. So in ACI we have a book for every course, and then inside the book we have each step of the testing. Here we have 7 tests, has its own ASTM part and ACI part. What does ASTM part mean? What does ACI part mean? ASTM part means everything in this world. If you ask me what is the color of this cup coffee, there is an ASTM number for it. If you ask me what is this glass, there is maybe 1,000 ASTM glass numbers, because not all glasses are the same, and plastic. So ASTM is somebody who puts specifications on products and colors and everything, and it is a very big institution. I mean, it's probably a huge institution. The first time I bought the ASTM manuals, maybe in the 1980s, I paid about $4,000, and they sent me 36 books. Now ASTM is not even in books anymore. It is online. And if your company, I don't know if your company can afford the ASTM online subscription, I think it's about $40,000 a year to get ASTM online access. Okay. Sometimes they sell sections, but Usually they are like this. So ASTM is the guy that decides what equipment you're allowed to use, what material you're allowed to use in the equipment, how to calibrate it, a lot of things. Then ACI comes and adds up to what we care about more is how you calibrate this equipment, how to take care of it, how to use it and so on. Okay? Okay, so so what we're going to do today and tomorrow is pass to you this information in a high school manner, not in a university manner, and tell you that this cup is 300 grams. Who cares? You have to care. Because if I say the cup is 300 grams, this may be a question. Okay. If I say the sugar which I put in my cup is ASTM 543, this is a question. As I told you, the idea here, ACI concentrated on this course because they want to pass on the, I don't know how to call it, it's not a theory, it's wants to pass on to you the importance of concrete. We want even you to say, well, everybody says concrete is this simple material, it just mix this and this and this and this. No, it's not. I mean, concrete is a very complicated material. And you can see how much it's being used around the world. You see how important it is in construction. So whatever you do with concrete is extremely important. Think if I am living, for example, in a high-rise building on the 50th floor, and then there is wind outside, how important it is the guy that fixes the window. I mean, it is life and death for me if the window breaks down. So a simple thing. Well, how important it is for the marble fixing on a building. If it falls down, it kills somebody there. But we always think about concrete and no, it's a strong material, it's not a big deal. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to improve our profession by going through that. Now the Saudi building code in Saudi Arabia, we were responsible also for developing it, and we put the ACI in it. So that's very lucky for you. That ACI is part of the Saudi building code, and it's part of the international building code, and it's part of the world building code. There are other codes, but ACI is still a very strong code. Now, most companies, like Al-Kifah, for example, and the other companies, we ask them, the government or other will ask them, okay, we need your people to be certified. Say, okay, but there is no place to be certified. So we had difficulty over the last 10 years that we cannot put rules on companies and contractors if they don't have the means to do it. Okay, so so it was quite not very important. Now, how important it is now? I was able to convince, and this is really personal work. I was able to convince Saudi Aramco that no engineer is allowed to be to take a race if he does not get ACI certification in the field that he's in. So at the beginning, everybody was shocked, and then they started reading. They started looking. So people are ordering, for example, the book, and I just send it to them, and they look at it. Oh, I can do that. And of course, there's much bigger books also. I don't know. There's nothing here. Here all are small, so that nobody gets afraid. But there are other books if anybody is interested. Okay, so this one is Concrete Construction Special Inspector. Okay. Now we don't want you to memorize. What we want you is to improve your knowledge by first having references that are up to date and being able to get the information from those references. But in that one, this is a closed book exam, you have to memorize everything. In those exams, it's an open book exam, but you have a short period of time to answer all the questions. So if I ask you a question on vibration of concrete, and this, you have to go to the vibration section and see the answer. If I ask you a question about Scaffolding, you have to go to scaffolding and check the number if you are a civil engineer, and check what is the question and what is the answer. So this will become your dictionary. You know, dictionary, when you want to see what's the meaning of the word, you open a dictionary. If you want to see the subject of whatever you've been asked, you can go to this dictionary. And how many are civil engineers here? You?
Diploma.
Huh?
Diploma of civil engineer, diploma of civil engineer.
So the civil engineers in a
Yeah.
way. Now, there's one thing which is very interesting about ACI is it's not really made for civil engineers. Okay, because let's look at the real situation. You have a project. There will be 10 civil engineers and 1,000 labor or technical people. So ACI is not done for a group. It's done for everybody. Everybody has his own development, and he can do that. Okay. There is one more thing. Maybe you are in ready mix, right?
Some part we have ready mix, precast concrete actually.
Precast. Okay. Now there is no precast society in a way, but there is a ready mix. Like the ACI ready mix, but it is still that is a different thing. That takes care of the equipment of the plant and the operation of the trucks and the operation of the drivers and the mixers and all this. So that is a different part.
One part is from us pre-stress and precast, but the delivery part is only cut.
So you are mostly in the precast area. Huh?
Yes, all here.
You are all precast concrete.
Yes, precast, pre-stress.
Yeah, I've been working all my life in precast concrete. I had a company, and we were dealing with fixing and lifting and all this, and it's called Al-Amar. I don't know if you've ever heard.
Al-Amar, I know, sir. We purchased too much.
Yeah. You still buy? No.
Actually, I was in Renkoza mill.
Yeah.
So most of I was purchasing from Allah.
We closed. The company closed. My younger brother and my father, who are shareholders, passed away. So there's a problem in this country about this, and we closed the factory. But precast concrete also requires high quality things. So what you're going to do here today is that you're going to, as I said, convince yourself that I want to pass. I have 14 different elements that I have to pass with. I cannot fail in one of them. Luckily, these 14 are divided into 7 practical and 7 written. The 7 practical, we consider it as also part of the training. So if you fail the practical exam of the slum test, we allow you to repeat it again. If you fail again, we allow you to repeat it again. If you fail the 3rd time, you fail. In the written exam, no. You just write it and answer it, and then if you fail, you fail. Now, how is the passing and failing? In the practical exam, we have a form, and this form says for you to make the slum test, you have to follow 18 process. I will be watching you working, and I'll be checking that you did all the 18 steps, then you pass. If you miss some steps, then you fail. If you, for example, in the middle of the process, you find out that you missed steps before, you say, sorry sir, I missed, I want to start again. Starting the test again is acceptable. And that's what we want you to do in the lab. Let's say you start the process, and then you find you made a mistake. You either say, let me continue and cook the results, or you say, scrap it, let me start over. We want you to start over again, so that you get the correct results. So in the written exam, you have, for example, the exam for the written is 55 questions. Let's say there are 5 questions in the section of air content. They want you to get 60% minimum. So you get if you have 5 questions, then you have to get at least 3 correct, because 3 is 60%. Another section may have only 4 questions. They want you more than 60%. So how many questions you have to get right? 3, because 3 is 75, more than 60. And the Big Four, maybe only 5 years ago, the questions were not explained which section it is. Then they found out that is confusing to you. So now they are telling you, this part is for slum, this part is for air content, this part is for density. So when you answer any section, you answer only the ones you are 100% sure, and you always calculate, I have more than 60 here, I have more than 60 here, I have more than 60 here. So it is an art, and one of the reasons of this course is to get you to pass. Because if you pass, then you get the advantage of what the ACI mission is, and you get the advantage of getting a better result. Okay? Okay. Now,